Seriously, look how big it is. I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Audio recordings of possible Bigfoot howls. Give this a listen. This alleged Bigfoot sighting in Colorado went viral online.
In a quiet, hidden place called Number 9, a couple saw a horrible creature that looked like Bigfoot disappear into the thick forest. The Cronin family in Minerva, Ohio, faced a strange creature they called the Minerva Monster. It seemed too real to be someone in a simple costume, with its broad back and large head. What if the legendary Bigfoot may be more dangerous than we previously thought? Let us reveal who or what is behind the creature that could eat up the entire local population. The legends of the forest. Many recordings that claim to show Bigfoot are often of poor quality, making it hard to see any clear details. These videos usually look like a person struggling in a bad gorilla costume rather than a real creature. But this specific footage was different, giving a clearer view that suggested either a real unknown creature or a very detailed hoax. Back in 1978, the Minerva Monster incident happened in Minerva, Ohio. The Cronin family reported a scary experience with a creature that seemed like Bigfoot. Their ordeal included unsettling events like rocks being thrown at their home and finding huge footprints in their backyard. The situation got worse with the violent death of their dog, which was believed to be linked to this creature. This incident wasn't isolated. Neighbors and other locals also reported seeing a similar shaggy beast. The story got a lot of media attention and became a well-known local legend. Jim Shannon, the former Stark County sheriff who responded to the Cronin family's distress calls, later talked about the clear terror he saw. He strongly believed the family had encountered something truly frightening, though the exact nature of what they saw remained unclear. More recently, on May 28, 2023, another sighting happened in Wisconsin. A woman driving early in the morning near the wooded and swampy areas of northern Oconto County reported seeing a large, two-legged figure. The creature was covered in black and brown fur, and at first, the woman thought it was a hiker in trouble. As she approached a curve in the road, she stopped, trying to understand the silent figure moving toward her. The lack of any cries for help and the quiet thuds of its steps made the sighting even stranger. She struggled to match the creature's human-like walk with her growing feeling that it wasn't human at all. Each of these stories walks the line between possible encounters with unknown wildlife and the imaginative world of folklore. While skeptics might quickly dismiss them as fake or mistaken identities, for those who have had these experiences, the encounters are very real and haunting. Whether these accounts are true or just products of imagination, they continue to fascinate and spark lively debates among believers and skeptics alike, adding to the ongoing discussion about the existence of creatures like Bigfoot. One quiet evening, a lone figure stood peeking around a corner on North Branch Road when another person appeared in the distance, walking eastward, completely unaware of the strange scene nearby. In the shadows, the creature caught the observer's eye. It was a massive, dark figure colored in shades of black and brown, with notably large and hairy legs. This creature, clearly not a bear nor a human, quickly vanished into a nearby ditch, leaving a lingering question about its true identity. Perhaps it was a Sasquatch. Farther south in Mississippi, around 6 p.m. on a cool October day, Josh Highcliffe, who was out hunting hogs, encountered an unusual sight. As he waited for the sun to set, perched on a log, unexpected sounds from behind caught his attention. Turning around, he saw a large, dark, furry figure busily digging around the stump of a dead tree. Although skepticism usually guided his judgment on stories of cryptids or ghosts, the scene before him was hard to dismiss. The creature eventually stood up, revealing a surprising height that added a compelling layer to the footage. For even a skeptic, the image of the creature digging and then rising to its full stature was both unnerving and captivating. In a quiet suburban backyard, a bizarre event unfolded. 2 nights ago, a man let his dogs out for their nightly routine when one dog started barking wildly. The man shone his flashlight toward the trees and spotted two glowing eyes about 9 feet up. He quickly brought the dogs inside after seeing a tall, human-like figure with wide shoulders stroll back into the forest. Disturbed by the sight, the man locked up his house, closed all the windows and blinds, and decided to keep the dogs inside at night. After this event, weird things like chewed dog toys by the woods seemed scarier, making Provo Canyon's mystery even deeper. It's a place famous for its strange stories, like the famous Bigfoot video taken by Harley Hoffman. Harley Hoffman's Bigfoot footage revisited. One evening, a couple heard a strange grunt and snort in the dark, a sound that left one of them completely mesmerized. The size of the creature they saw and the unusual height of its eyes were especially startling. This sighting made the previously skeptical man believe in Bigfoot, changing his view on legendary creatures. A group with a camera went into the woods at night, drawn by strange sounds. They managed to capture footage of a large, hairy figure that suddenly appeared among the trees. The creature had a human-like face with blinking eyes, adding a chilling realism to the scene. Despite their fear, the group was frozen, unable to run from what they had seen. Adding to the stories, a man driving to work in Whitmore, California, shared his detailed encounter. On a secluded logging road, he saw a tall, bipedal creature covered in dark brown fur streaked with gray. The creature crossed the road in seconds and vanished into the forest. The sudden encounter sent a shiver down the man's spine, making him rush to his destination, where his young son awaited, unaware of his father's fear. This event happened during wildfires in the area, suggesting the creature might have been fleeing from danger. Something stirred that defied usual human proportions. It was not just large, but an oddity that intrigued and scared those who saw it. The footage showed this unsettling encounter, capturing the raw reactions of the witnesses. Initially thought to be a bear, the creature's sudden upright stance shocked the onlookers. This moment, caught on camera, showed the unpredictability of wilderness encounters. Among the many sightings, the Harley Hoffman footage stood out. Found years ago and part of an interview with Harley Hoffman, a man devoted to finding Bigfoot, it had faded into obscurity before resurfacing with clear, captivating images. This footage was special because it showed the creature in a way that went beyond the usual Bigfoot portrayals. The muscle contours under the fur resembled the famous Patterson film, giving the footage more credibility and suggesting it was more than just another fake spectacle. Imagine finding a giant ape in a forest. It's unlikely anyone would stay calm enough to film it perfectly. This famous Bigfoot footage, which sparked huge interest in Bigfoot, is usually the first thing you see when searching for Bigfoot online. In 1967, two filmmakers were making a short film in Northern California and ended up filming what they claimed was Bigfoot. As the creature walks through a wooded area, it has sparked decades of debate and analysis. Many skeptics have tried to prove the footage is fake, but none have definitively shown it to be a hoax. Could it really just be someone in a sophisticated gorilla suit? Around the same time this footage was taken, the movie Beneath the Planet of the Apes was released, featuring ape costumes that were impressive but not as realistic as what is seen in the Bigfoot video. Supporters of the footage argue that you can see detailed muscle movements in the figure, which seemed too complex for the costume technology available in the 1960s. How could a suit be so advanced compared to what was seen in professional films at the time? This makes some people think the footage might actually show a real Bigfoot. The debate also looks at the special effects technology of the time compared to the creature shown in the footage. Even today's advanced costumes and effects would have a hard time achieving such realistic detail and movement without a big budget and expertise. However, critics suggest the timing and circumstances of the footage are too convenient. Filmmakers at the perfect place and time, capturing a clear shot of a legendary creature just as public interest in such monsters was growing, this might seem a little too coincidental. The debate looks at the film quality too. Even though it's been improved and studied, the video is still fuzzy and hard to see, making people unsure and open to different ideas. The creature of Lake James. In October 2012, A notable event unfolded in Provo Canyon when a group of siblings, out on a hike, ventured into an unexpected scenario. Initially, their expedition aimed at tracking deer, which they had glimpsed earlier. However, as they pushed deeper into the woods to get a better look at the animals, their attention was abruptly diverted to a different creature. Believing it to be a bear at first glance due to its size and form, their hearts raced when the creature did something they hadn't anticipated. It stood upright on two legs. Overcome with fear, the siblings made a swift decision to leave the area, managing to record only a brief, unclear video of the figure that later circulated widely, igniting various discussions and theories on what it could possibly be. Meanwhile, a few states away in Allegheny National Forest, Pennsylvania, another intriguing incident took place in 2007. Rick Jacobs, a hunter with a keen interest in local wildlife, mounted a camera to a tree within the forest. His intention was simple: to capture images of the forest's inhabitants, particularly bears and deer. This camera, equipped with a motion sensor, was poised to snap photos of any creature that moved in front of it. On September 16, 2007, Jacobs retrieved the memory card from the camera, eager to see what wildlife had passed by. Among the usual images of the forest fauna, one particular photo stood out. It was an unusual, grainy image that some would later claim depicted Bigfoot. This photo quickly became a piece of controversial evidence among Bigfoot enthusiasts and skeptics, contributing to the ongoing debate about the creature's existence. These two incidents highlight a broader cultural fascination with the idea of unknown creatures lurking in remote areas. The siblings in Provo Canyon and Jacobs in Pennsylvania both experienced moments that captured the public's imagination and fueled endless speculation. Whether it was a moment of panic upon seeing a figure unexpectedly stand on two legs, or the surprise of discovering an odd image on a wildlife camera. These experiences showcase how easily the unexplained can capture attention and stir debate. The allure of these encounters lies not just in the possibility of discovering something truly unknown, but in the stories that emerge from them, stories that weave together fear, curiosity, and the perennial question of what if that haunts the human mind. The blurry images from a camera, someone found a picture that sparked a lot of talk. The picture shows a figure some people call Bigfoot, and others say is just a sick bear. Its unusual posture, with a bent back and one leg stretched out, made some people think of Bigfoot, though it's probably something more ordinary. Then there's the June 2001 incident at Marble Mountain. A group led by Jim Mills was camping there when they found a strange structure made of twigs and branches. Soon after, Mills recorded what he thought was Bigfoot on video for 7 minutes, one of the longest such videos ever taken. Experts who looked at the video said the figure seemed not to be human and might be 9 feet tall. When the creature noticed people watching, it started jumping around and screaming, and even pushed over a tree, probably trying to scare them away. John Bruner and 3 others went out on Lake James at night. They had heard about something eerie watching fishermen from the shore. Using night vision cameras, they took 121 pictures of what they believed was Bigfoot. They described the creature as about 7.5 feet tall, standing and swaying as it watched them. After about 5 minutes, it walked away. However, all the photos were very blurry, just like all other Bigfoot photos. Washington State is known for its many Bigfoot sightings. One time, a Department of Transportation webcam on Sherman Pass on State Route 20 caught another unclear figure. It was seen crossing the mountain pass and then hiding behind some trees by the road. The footage showed a big, hairy creature that looked like what people think Bigfoot looks like. But as usual, the evidence wasn't clear. The idea that Bigfoot exists isn't just limited to Canada and the US. Recent claims suggest that Russia might also have its own Bigfoot. A video from 2016 seems to show evidence of Bigfoot chasing a car. The footage is not very clear and shows what looks like a dark, blurry figure that starts far away but gets closer quickly. This figure, which could easily be mistaken for a bear or a shadow, seems to chase the car with surprising speed as the car stops and starts in an attempt to keep filming the event. The peak of this chase occurs when the passengers, clearly scared, shout to each other to close the car window while screaming, "He's coming! He's running!" According to their story, the creature jumps onto the car and breaks the window. However, this critical moment isn't shown in the video, which makes some people doubt the whole story. This version of Bigfoot is described as unusually aggressive, which adds a new twist to the typical Bigfoot story. There's also a debate about how to make Bigfoot plural. Should it be Bigfoots or Big Feet? This discussion shows our ongoing interest and confusion about this mysterious creature. The search for Bigfoot continues. The long-running tale of Bigfoot. Some children were following footprints to a frozen lake, laughing and joking along the way. Their fun took a sharp turn when they noticed a tall, dark, hairy figure in the distance. As soon as it saw the kids, it sprinted away quickly. Startled, the children ran off too. They told the crew that the creature was very tall and covered in hair, but its face was oddly hairless. The kids and their parents all thought they had just seen the legendary Bigfoot. A similar incident was reported in Washington State. Locals there tried to capture this elusive creature on film by setting up a camera hidden inside a fake rock in a man's backyard. This man claimed he had seen Bigfoot there 9 months earlier. Eventually, the camera did snap a picture, but all it captured was a blur, hardly convincing evidence of anything. Critics might argue that this blurry image doesn't prove anything, seeing it as just another unclear photo in the ongoing search for this elusive creature. This chain of unclear sightings and vague images continues to feed more speculation than solid proof, keeping the story alive without providing real answers. The photograph revealed a curious arrangement: one eye surrounded by noticeable wrinkles, a part of a nose bridge, another segment of an eye, and a forehead. Strikingly, when this image was overlaid with a sketch from an eyewitness who claimed to have seen a creature, the alignment was nearly perfect. This coincidence raised questions. It could suggest that the camera captured a genuine anomaly, or perhaps it was merely a fluke, emphasizing how easily human perception can be influenced. This peculiar encounter wasn't the only one stirring interest in the area known as Bigfoot Central, a place shrouded in tales of the legendary creature. Another unsettling episode unfolded in 1996 when a local resident experienced something extraordinary in his backyard. He reported a tall, dark figure that seemed to loom in the shadows of his yard, triggered by the sudden activation of his motion sensor light. The sighting was serious enough to prompt a 911 call, which was recorded and remains available for public listening, adding a layer of credibility and intrigue to the account. The description of the figure was vague: a tall, dark silhouette darting through the night. Such a description could apply to many possible nighttime visitors, making it a challenge to discern the truth of the encounter. The term Bigfoot was quickly associated with the sighting, likely influenced by the region's rich lore involving such creatures. This labeling might have shaped the interpretation of the event, leading locals and enthusiasts to view it through a lens tinted by folklore. This episode is a classic example of how cultural context and personal expectations can transform an ordinary event into a tale of intrigue. Shadows and natural sounds common in the nocturnal outdoors could easily be misconstrued as something more sinister. The power of suggestion is strong, particularly in a place like Washington State, where stories of Bigfoot are woven into the local culture. Such an environment is ripe for turning simple explanations into elaborate stories that captivate the imagination of both locals and the wider public. The call came in on a cold evening. A distressed man described seeing a very large figure, around 6-8 inches tall, that looked more like a beast than a human. He urgently reported that just the night before, his dog had been killed in his yard. Speaking quickly and with fear in his voice, he begged the operator to send help immediately. A week after this call, the local sheriff's office received a disturbing photo showing what appeared to be Bigfoot moving through a neighbor's yard. Nearby, something or someone was seen crawling, but it was hard to make out in the dim light. "Was it a person or an animal? I couldn't tell," the caller said. All he knew was that his security light had turned on, and he saw this figure running across the yard. This event was quickly added to a list of sightings on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization website, a place filled with many such stories. Some people might laugh at these stories, dismissing them as the result of people's wild imaginations after hearing similar stories. However, the reports continue to accumulate, each one adding to a larger, though controversial, collection of supposed encounters. While some eagerly take their cameras into the woods, hoping to catch a clear shot that would make them famous, others doubt whether such a creature could continue to avoid detection in a world where technology is everywhere. Could this just have been a misidentified bear, a play of shadows, or perhaps a prank by locals who know the area's folklore well? Nonetheless, this account joins many others, contributing to the ongoing discussion between those who believe and those who doubt. Each claimed sighting, each grainy photo tips the balance, but it's still not clear which way. In our era, where facts and fiction often blur, the story of Bigfoot lives on, capturing the imagination of those who are drawn to the unproven and the excitement of searching for what might be hidden right under our noses. On a particularly snowy day in January, an intriguing event took place in Warren County, Ohio. A family was driving along State Route 350, heading towards State Route 123 south of Oregon. As they neared the crossing of the Loveland Bike Trail adjacent to the Little Miami River, an unusual sight caught their attention. The snow had been falling steadily, blanketing everything in a thick layer of white. The ground was covered with at least 3 inches of snow, creating a serene yet stark landscape. Amid this wintry scene, a large black figure appeared on the bike path. It stood motionless, facing the river, its presence stark against the snowy backdrop. Silent sentinels, the unexplained watchers of winter, the hunt for Ohio's hidden giant. Given the cold and snowy conditions, it was highly unlikely for anyone to be out, especially not standing still on a bike path usually frequented by cyclists and walkers in more favorable weather. The temperature was bitterly cold, the kind that made one's breath visible in the air and urged most people to stay indoors, wrapped up in warmth. This figure, however, seemed unaffected by the chill. There were no footprints leading up to its position, nor any signs of disturbance in the fresh snow around it. It simply stood there, a silent sentinel amidst the falling snowflakes, raising questions about its origins and purpose. As the family continued, their image of the figure lingered in their minds. They discussed what it could have been, a person perhaps, but why would someone stand so still in such freezing weather? An animal seemed unlikely given the shape and size. That deepened with the lack of any subsequent reports or sightings. No one else came forward with stories or explanations, and the local authorities had no relevant incidents on record. The family's sighting remained an isolated episode, an anecdote to recount with wonder and speculation. The local community, intrigued by the account, speculated various theories, but none could adequately explain the figure's presence. Some suggested it might have been someone out to create a stir, knowing the effect such a sight could have under the unusual weather conditions. A figure emerged from the dense woods, its form shrouded in a consistent dark hue, devoid of any recognizable patterns that might suggest typical outdoor attire. This sighting by a man and his family wasn't an isolated incident. The area had already been noted for at least 9 other credible sightings of a similar creature, which some might be quick to label as a Bigfoot-like being. On a certain evening, as the light began to fade into dusk, a video was being recorded in a forest near El City, Ohio. The footage, hosted by a YouTube channel called We Do It Outdoors, captured the essence of the eerie setting with sounds that resembled distant howls and the knocking of wood. Originally focused on mundane lawn care, the channel had taken a dramatic turn, now dedicating a significant portion of its content to exploring tales of Bigfoot. This transformation in the channel's focus over the years might be viewed as a tactical shift, aimed at capturing the curiosity and fascination of a broader audience. The series of videos, including the one in question, regardless of their authenticity, have successfully woven a web of intrigue with their chilling auditory elements. These sounds, which the video purports are neither human nor known animal calls, raise questions. They could very well be strategic sound effects used to heighten the atmosphere of the videos, leveraging the human love for a good scare. If an ordinary person were to encounter such noises while meandering through a forest, the most rational response would likely be to leave the area swiftly, not necessarily out of a belief in folklore, but rather from a desire not to engage with the potentially fabricated elements of the unknown. This odd scenario led him to search around his property. During his search, he found a large footprint. Intrigued, he fetched a tape measure, measured the footprint, and took photos. The footprint was quite large, measuring 18 inches long and about 9 to 10 inches wide. Then came Jim Thompson, who identifies himself as a Bigfoot researcher. He was called to explore the possibility of Bigfoot's presence. Thompson found more footprints on the property, each about 40 inches apart, suggesting a stride much longer than that of a typical human, which added an interesting twist to the story. Despite these findings, it's wise to maintain some skepticism. The idea of Bigfoot sneaking around a chicken coop in Ohio makes for an engaging story, tapping into our love for the unusual. But the evidence provided, like footprint photos, doesn't really prove that Bigfoot exists. It just brings up more questions. Was it just a prank, a case of mistaken identity, or just a fun story? Also, how would such a large creature move around a chicken coop without causing more mess or damage? While the story captures the imagination, a thorough investigation would look for simpler explanations before concluding it was something extraordinary. On a warm evening on July 24th, a local man went through something strange, just 2 weeks after he first reported weird things happening. He heard creepy yelps from both ends of his property. These sounds seemed to be talking to each other, echoing back and forth in the dim light of dusk. Along with these sounds, he often felt a spooky feeling at night, as if hidden eyes were watching him from the shadows. Not far from him, Susan, who never believed in ghost stories and strange things, found her doubts tested one quiet evening. Near her home in Lenville, Ohio, Susan saw something odd. A big, hairy creature with thick black fur jumped across a road right in front of her. It's not clear what kind of road it was. If it had been a busy highway, seeing such a creature would be a big deal. But if it was just a lonely dirt road, the sighting, while still creepy, might not be as shocking. These strange events make us want to explore the unknown more. They make us wonder about how true these incredible stories are, often influenced by the darkness, and how our minds can turn regular sounds into the steps of hidden creatures. Despite these doubts, such stories keep being told, becoming part of local tales and fueling both doubt and fascination alike. Do these dark tales reveal hidden truths, or are they mere figments of our imagination? Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more.